welcome back, Lehigh Valley. You are back. This is your Unlaced Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua, and today we have two very special guests, two of my very near and dear friends, two of the most stylish people in the whole Lehigh Valley. We are here with Andy. Ooh, and we got a real special guest.
I thought this was the guest. I thought this was the guest we were talking about.
We have Andy and Armani. Thanks for coming, guys.
Of course. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for having us.
You know it. And so the good thing about having you guys both on is you guys both come from different backgrounds, and I guess your business kind of brought you guys together, or I don't even know. So I'm just ready to dive all the way into that. I think this is like the coolest thing ever. So we could start with you, Andy, I guess. Are you from the Lehigh Valley? Did you grow up here, or where are you originally from?
I've been in the Lehigh Valley since '97, but I grew up in San Diego.
Oh, okay. And so San Diego, born and raised, and
born in Washington State.
Okay.
Moved down to San Diego like first grade, and then left San Diego after sophomore year, and then been in Pennsylvania since then.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's where the skateboard surfing background come from?
Yeah, definitely no surfing. Like
no surfing.
Growing up in San Diego, like I didn't really like going in the water all that much.
Okay.
But really growing up, like a lot of breakdance culture, hip hop culture, car culture, and then skateboarding kind of came in like almost like right before I moved away. And so I really kind of took that with me to Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's really interesting. So what was that got you into like the skate culture, I guess? And why did you think it was so late, I guess?
Yeah, like a lot of kids like probably get into skateboarding when they're like, like 8 years old, 10 years old, 13 years old.
Even myself as well.
Yeah. For me, like I didn't get my first skateboard until I was 16.
Wow.
So, skateboarding is everywhere in San Diego and Southern California. So it was something where I had a lot of friends that skated.
Yeah.
But again, like who I was really tapped in with was a lot of other Filipino kids.
Okay.
And so we were really into like hip hop, DJing, breakdancing.
Yes.
So I was spending a lot more time breakdancing than I was skateboarding, but all the homies in my classes skated.
Yeah.
So I kind of got into it through a project I did in a public speaking class that I was paired up with a skater named Colin Larson. So we kind of did a advocacy kind of speech talking about like why skateboarding should be legalized on campus. So he really introduced me into skateboarding. I edited a little video with like 2 VCRs taking like clips from skate videos, VHSs. So
wow.
the audience probably doesn't know.
Nah, we got to give it to him. No, we got to give it to him because I like that type of stuff. Like, and a lot of people don't come from that culture. So I guess like this is more of an appreciation for like my kind of like
analog culture.
Yeah, my like introduction to like some of these things, and I think that's so cool that you have that in your background, and you could also talk about the stuff from that, like the now culture.
Yeah, that ended up being like learning about video editing that way, learning about skateboarding through videos.
Yeah.
Really was like foreshadowing for what I would do later in the Lehigh Valley with being a filmer and a video editor.
Yeah.
Of like local skateboarding videos. So yeah, it was kind of like by the time I finished that project, after watching these skate videos over and over again, like I asked Colin if he had like an old skateboard, and he gave it to me, and then kind of just started skateboarding from there.
Wild, because I think I didn't have like the same introduction, but videos is what got me into skating. It wasn't like seeing someone skateboarding or anything like that, but it was the videos, the music, the style, the fashion, like all of that. Just I don't know what it did to me as a kid, but it was like, oh, that looks like really cool.
It was like the coolest thing because I grew up with like Pharrell, with when you debuted like Ice Cream.
Yes.
Like the first skate game to come out, like that was everything to like a young kid.
Yeah.
And then also like all the homies were skating too, so it was just all this stuff that you would see every day.
Tony Hawk was a big
Underground, yeah. Tony Hawk Underground was big.
The best one to me was Tony Hawk Underground. I didn't like 1, 2, cool, but Underground it had the story mode and like you could join the team and all of that stuff. So that was
the first Underground was great. I think they had like a lot of Easter egg characters. They had Iron Man, Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I think they just had the 26th anniversary of the first Tony Hawk Pro Skateboarder game coming out just like in the last week.
Was it like the 1-2 one, or is it a different one?
No, like the original.
The
game,
original one. Okay.
Yeah. Came out like 26 years ago, like earlier this week.
That is sick. That is sick. So let's go to. Were you born and raised Lehigh Valley, or
no? I was I'm from New York. I was born in Queens, raised in Brooklyn for a little bit of my childhood.
Represent Queens.
And
She
then-
was raised out in Brooklyn.
And then moved out here when I was 7. So I've been in the Lehigh Valley for about 20 years now.
Sick.
But-
Okay. And so you have a skateboard, and so your introduction was the Tony Hawk games, or
Yeah,
videos
it's like
and stuff like that.
yeah, it's like skateboard, like Pharrell, Ice Cream. That's also when like my dad would wear a lot of bathing ape back then. So I've collided with like those worlds.
Yeah.
When he used to take me to the Reach Space, which is like Jeff Staples' like
Iconic.
first brick and mortar store, like
Wow.
back in like the early 2010s.
Where was that located?
Orchard Street.
Orchard.
Yeah.
It's a
Orchard
Soho,
is
yeah.
popping right now. Orchard
Yeah.
is the place to be in LES. Like, I think all of like the businesses that I really like are tapped into, like, are on Orchard right now. Like, Orchard is like a real staple. It's becoming a staple again in
Yeah.
New York City right now. So that's interesting. And then, so your dad was into
My dad was into streetwear like
Wow.
when I was young.
That's good. So that's where
That's where my
love for-
introduction. Yeah, like I was rocking like Stussy. He would get me bathing ape sometimes. Ralph Lauren was big back then. I don't know, like academics, South Pole.
Yes.
Everything
Martin,
we
like
sell now.
Martin,
All got those stories.
yeah,
for
Echo,
sure,
like-
for sure.
Yeah, bro, that was
Pelly-
New York.
Pelly,
Like I was rocking
baby.
New York back in the day.
Yes.
DC's, like
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
all stuff that was related to what skateboard and like streetwear culture were.
Yeah.
I kind of got everything from just that.
You remember those ice cream videos when they actually made the skate team?
Yeah, yeah.
With Terry Kennedy and Jacob and all of them.
The Terry Kennedy ice creams are my favorite. Like one of my favorite pairs of sneakers that I would probably never get to own.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Just the pink and red ones are like the best colorway.
Those were really dope.
Those
really
I wore those in skate when I played the game.
Board flips.
Yeah.
dope. For sure. All right, so let's get into the Lehigh Valley. When you moved to the Lehigh Valley, where did you initially move to?
To Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And you started school at
Liberty.
Liberty. So how was that transition for you? What, like, style, like culture, everything? Was it hard to fit in?
It was definitely culture shock going from a place like San Diego, like so many Filipinos, a lot of like so many Mexicans, like it was a lot of diversity.
Melting
Then coming into like the Lehigh Valley in the late 90s, it really wasn't. So like actually they gave me a choice. They said like where we lived, I could have went to Liberty or I could have went to Freedom.
Oh, wow.
And then I forget exactly how I found out, like maybe some kids that lived in the neighborhood, but it was really like Freedom was kind of like upper class, predominantly just like, you know, it was just like a lot of like just like white kids.
Yeah.
And I was sort of told like Liberty is like a little bit more like mixed. There's a lot of like Spanish, Puerto Rican kids,
Yeah.
a lot more diversity. And that's where I chose to go. I really had no like could have been either. And I
Right.
would have probably felt out of place. But I definitely found like kids that were like into hip hop, into breakdancing, into skateboarding at Liberty. But it definitely was a transition, getting used to just the culture of the East Coast.
To find your people, I think that's important, especially like everywhere you go. I think it makes you settle into the community a little bit like easier. It's like an easier kind of thing. And that's something that I took, because I moved from New York to Pennsylvania when I was 8 years old. And I think sports was like my biggest way in, like with a lot of people. And that was like, I guess it's like easier when you're like that young, because you make friends like a lot easier.
Kids are like less, very like non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Like, around that age.
I guess they welcome you a lot easier
Yeah.
when they're younger. But so I can
It
only
was
imagine.
weird. It was really like, I remember calling my friends and I was like, you know, like those movies, like, or like TV shows like Dawson's Creek or like Friday Night Lights, where like the football players popular and the cheerleaders popular. I was like, that's how it is here. It's it's very much just like straight out of a movie where like everything,
all the cliches.
Yeah,
like,
all the cliches. Like
Yes,
the whole
sure.
town comes out to watch football games.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I was like, this is so. It was so weird, and it really was. The other thing that's funny to me because you were talking about like Zoo York, and we are just talking about like skateboarding's intersections.
Yeah.
I remember leaving as I was getting ready to leave. I started to watch like a lot more like the old Zoo York mixtape video with like Harold Hunter and Jeff Pang and all those skaters looking at the Brooklyn banks. And just watching those videos, just psyching myself up to be like, yo, I'm going to go to like Philly. I'm going to go to Love Park. I'm going to go to the Brooklyn Banks. Like, I'm going to have all that access. I'm going to be able to go to all those places, like just to kind of make myself feel better about the move. And, you know, so like when you watch like those videos, like you get into like, you see like, okay, what's the style there? Like Timberlands and like at the time, like Mecca and all those brands. So I remember when I first got here, like when I went back to school shopping, I was like, I need a pair of Timberlands. Like I need like.
It was like you already knew because you had a point of reference. That's dope.
Yeah. So just listening to a lot of like, the only time I ever skipped school was when Wu-Tang Forever came out, and I skipped school to get that CD.
Oh my God.
So there was a lot of like on the West Coast, like there's a lot.
That's
of
something like many
influence.
people don't experience anymore.
That's so fire.
Oh yeah,
You
I'm really like dating myself in this podcast.
Nah, listen. Let's all date ourselves right now. Do we all remember the day CDs used to come out? They didn't.
Yeah,
used
my
to
first-
drop on Fridays.
My first CD was
everybody.
Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon. That was my first CD.
Let's go. All right. So I remember when I first got a car of my own. My mom took me to the mall to buy a CD, and I got Asher Roth, Asleep in the Bread Aisle.
Word.
It was the first CD I had because I remember I inherited my grandmother's car, and the only CD that I would play was The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I played that CD so much that I lost the case. Like it was the only one I would play in there. So do you guys remember the day CDs used to come out?
Yeah, it's Tuesday, wasn't it?
Let's go, CD Tuesdays, baby.
Yep.
A lot of people don't remember that. Right. You too young. You too young. You don't remember that. So all right, so I guess let's go. So for you, Armani, when did I guess you kind of like get into yourself? Like when did you like kind of know yourself? Like coming through like junior high, high school. Like when did you? Was skateboarding always a thing for you, like growing up, or was it like the fashion? Was it DJing? Because I know like you're even design. Like there's just
I think in my middle school and like high school years, I was definitely involved with that culture, but I didn't skate. I was just whatever my parents got me. So I did my best with like trying to express myself with what I had, but also like using what I saw on the early internet or, you know, in magazines or video games as a point of reference. So I used to draw a lot when I was younger. That was kind of my thing. That's my thing was like in school was like, oh, like Adriel's the kid that could draw.
Yeah.
So that is what kind of led me to the art scene or just the whole career end of it at a young age, because I didn't know like you could do this for a living. What
got you into drawing? Like, did you see something, or like was it just like a natural gift, like type of thing?
Yeah,
like
I mean, my dad was always creative, but it was just something that I always had around me. Just you always had crayons and coloring books as a kid, you know.
Yeah, but we all did.
Yeah,
yeah, but
like
I wasn't
comic books, anime.
yeah.
Yeah, like where does that come? Like, did you did comic books? Like, was it Marvel?
I used to draw a lot of Hot Wheel cars because I love Hot Wheel cars when I was a kid. So I would draw my own Hot Wheel cars.
That's sick.
And then I got big into like graffiti in middle school, and then that was kind of like my introductory to like design language.
Okay. Hip hop was like really big one for me too when I was like young. Like I would that's what I would like doodle, like art covers like in my like books and stuff like that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I was big into like graffiti culture in middle school. Like that's all I would do is like go on like graffiti websites to like look at products or like videos of like guys tagging like crazy spots. And,
wow. Were you into like paints and like acrylics, or was it like strictly like just?
I would also do that because you know your art class you gotta like
you
gotta do what they give you to do.
Yeah.
So I was pretty good at like watercolors. I was really fun at, and then still life.
So
was
when
good at
does
still
that
life.
when does that transition into digital?
In high school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get introduced like through a class or?
My art program got a MacBook, and they had the Adobe Suite on it. And I was like, I'm
Wow.
going to make a collage with this. And then I was just like, oh, like this is really easy.
You know,
It just kind of just
it's not easy. Let's start there because it's not. It might be easy for you, but for a tech illiterate person like me, is like the hardest thing. It could be like neuroscience to me, honestly. Okay, so when Andy, for you, when did I guess you come into your own? Like it was because you came over in high school. So did you go to school directly after high school? What were some of the things you were doing like right when you graduated?
I mean, I was skateboarding a lot. At the time that I graduated high school, I was really getting a little bit deeper into like the local skate community. At that point, I had saved up for a camera, like through photo classes at Liberty.
Okay.
I started taking a lot of skate photos, developing the film in the class, and like starting to learn on my own about composition and things like that. So then that led to videography. And again, that experience of watching skate videos, I'd always been like really interested in like how skateboard videos are made, how filmers document it, more so than being concerned about like, well, I need to be in front of the camera and I need to jump down that. I need to grind that.
Right.
I was way more interested in documenting.
Yeah.
So just through that process after high school, that's really when I was traveling all over the Lehigh Valley. We had like our crew in Bethlehem, and we would travel to Allentown, meet skaters in Allentown. And at the time, like no one had ever made like a local skate video. No one had ever taken up that role as filmer.
Yeah.
To just be that kid on a skateboard, just following everyone around, like try after try. But like I was like super like drawn to that.
Yeah.
And then we would all get together, watch like the footage, and then you can see how excited like the skaters were to see themselves on film.
Yes.
So I feel like, you know, like those experiences, like putting in the time to like, you know, work a job, buy a Mac. He's out. He's like
Big stretchies, kid.
So to kind of put in that work, it taught me a lot. I like self-taught in Adobe Premiere, self-taught like just watching videos, editing and all that.
No way. You too? You're self-taught in Adobe Premiere?
YouTube University, man.
That is ridiculous.
I had to go to Barnes and Nobles to buy a book. Like there was no really YouTube for me. I had to buy a book and read it. And
Did it come with the CD so you could put it in your computer?
nah.
Ooh, remember
Not
those?
even that. Not even that. It was straight up like little pictures, and I had to read the words, look at the pictures, follow the instructions. But it was like, it was a good process of just like trial and error, failing forward, making little edits. The homies would watch them. They would get psyched. Then that would motivate them to want to try bigger things and harder things. And then that would culminate to like a video premiere for like that we had by the time we showed our first video in 2021, or I'm sorry, not 2021. By the time we showed our first video in 2001, like we had the skaters from all over the Lehigh Valley, the Poconos. We were traveling to Philly. We were traveling to New York, Boston, DC, just skating all over, and just a crew of friends making a video. We showed it. We brought, you know, skateboarding is a cross section of a lot of things. So we had bands, we had art, we had the skateboard video. It brought the community together in a way that had never been done at that time, and it really kind of just like was like, man, like that's kind of how I feel like I came into my own, and I felt like I had a place here, and that was even a different place than I had like in the Lehigh or in California.
Yeah.
I like think back, and it's such a blessing that I left California to live here, because if I would have stayed in California, I mean, I probably wouldn't have had the same opportunities,
Right.
or the direction or the drive, because, you know, what I was doing in California was kind of like a dime a dozen. Like everybody wanted to be a
was
filmer. Everybody wanted to be a skater. So being able to bring what I knew about skate culture from California to here, we were able to start something very special, which then led to the opening of Homebase.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everything else, and to like meet people like Armani outside of like directly the skate culture.
What were some of the skate, were there skate stores already out here before, like when you got here? Like what were some of the skate stores that you guys were like frequenting?
So there were places in the Lehigh Valley where you could buy a skateboard.
Yeah.
But they weren't involved in the skateboarding culture. So it's like, you know, you can buy your shoes, you can buy your board, you can go out and skate. But as far as like in California, you really had places that brought the community together through contests for the local community, sponsoring kids in the local community. And you would have that, you know, in San Diego, there's probably dozens of skate shops.
Yeah.
And so they were all doing that, and that all like lifted up the skate culture and the community as a whole. Here in the Lehigh Valley, at that time, there's just been places that you could just buy them. But as far as who brought kids together, nobody was doing. Like even when we were in the streets meeting other skaters, it was kind of like the skaters I knew, it was like, oh, do you know them? And it was like, no, I don't know them. I mean, I've seen them,
right,
but I don't know them. And that became an important part of the videos we're making. It was something where it's like, now we're exchanging numbers. Now we're going to their spots. They're coming to our spots.
Yes.
Like it was bringing the community, the skateboarding community together. And, you know, obviously like we didn't bring every single skater together,
right,
but at the time we were doing something that nobody else was doing. And, there wasn't anybody supporting what we were doing. It was just being done on our own. You know, now, I guess at the time, like the idea of an industry didn't really exist in the Lehigh Valley.
Okay.
There was no opportunity. We were just doing it because we were friends and we enjoyed skateboarding. We were just doing it for the love of the culture.
Gotcha.
And that created something just from doing it. That eventually became us opening up Homebase because we wanted a store that reinvested back into the culture of skateboarding, that cared about developing it. You know, skateboarding has been around in the Lehigh Valley since the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
But in this whole time, no one's ever advocated for a skate park.
Got you.
So that didn't happen until like I came here.
Yeah.
And I started putting that work to just bang on the doors at the city of Bethlehem and try to get a skate park built. And then that brought other people to the table. And, you know, I mean, it's like a long-winded story, which I won't bore you with.
This is what we're
but
here
it is
for.
something where I feel like, again, what I knew about skateboarding from seeing it in California and then not seeing it here, it showed me a lot of places for opportunity. And I've been very thankful that I've had that opportunity to bring aspects of skateboarding culture. And then also as we fast forward into like second base opening, being able to play a certain role in music, in arts, and everything else, because, you know, as a business, like you're meant to, and maybe you're not meant to, but as a business owner, it's like, why not use your business as a platform to bring community together?
For sure. I love that. So when does Homebase become a thing? Like how old were you and how far removed from like high school? Like how quick does that happen?
I was 21.
Wow.
When it opened, and it was May 25th of 2002.
Wow.
So like I'd done a year at Northampton Community College and then like part of a semester. And then I dropped out of school to just push to open up the skate shop.
And the location you're at now, that's where you opened it the first time?
So we've always been on Southside Bethlehem,
Okay.
but we were on South New Street, just like on like a block right now that is dilapidated. It's like across the street from like Rocky Ramen.
Okay.
So it was like we were like right down the street from like the You're Welcome Inn and Pat's Newsstand. So like if you ran around the South Side in like the 2000s, like you would know like those places. So we were there at our first location, which was just like a 400 square foot box, but that's where we started selling LRG. That's where we started selling the Nike. Like we got our Nike SB account that same year.
Wow.
And then really kind of dove into like streetwear brands that like Armani kind of like mentioned, whether 10 Deep, the Hundreds, Mishka,
I miss Mishka.
Mishka,
Yeah.
remember
Miss
that?
Mishka.
I remember people couldn't pronounce
Diamond
it forever.
Supply. Like, so we had all that, and then that carried us into like we had another location on 4th Street.
Okay.
And then we moved over in 2018 to the location we're currently at, still on 4th Street.
And when did you become familiar with Homebase? Was that your initial introduction to Andy, or was it through something else?
My real introduction to Andy was second base.
Second base, okay.
Andy and I had met one or twice in passing at like a local event at the Allentown Art Gallery.
Okay. Which art gallery is it?
It's the one. It's on. I think it's on south side of Allentown.
Still there?
I think.
How about the Alternative Gallery?
Yeah, the alternative art
Alternative?
gallery.
Yeah,
Art
yeah,
Gallery,
it's
okay.
on like
It's across the street from the
Fourth
Town.
Street.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Is it West 4th Street?
It's not. I don't know if it's West. It's 4th Street, like
I know
4th
it's
and
4th
Tillman.
Street. I just don't know what side of Allentown it's on.
Yeah.
So
I guess like that's east, almost east side, because it's just
Yeah.
coming off of like Hanoverville.
True Lehigh Valley.
no idea where it's at
People
right
right
now.
here.
So yeah, I met Andy passing at the alternative art gallery once or twice, but my real introduction was when second base vintage opened.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's because I do want to stay at Homebase for a bit. So opening the store, you were kind of like, was it like I know you have like the storefront, but it's still you wanted to be. Well, I don't want to speak for you, but was it like more community driven? Like you wanted to do things for the community, and like was it event? Like was it event based? Like did you have events? Like what was some of the stuff going on?
Yeah, like since like from day one. I mean, I was doing skateboarding events before I even had a skateboard shop, because that was all part of like advocacy for getting skate parks built in Bethlehem, even prior to the plans for the Bethlehem Skate Plaza.
Gotcha.
So we already had, like anytime that the community would let us put ramps out or skate in public without getting kicked out, we were trying to do that. Again, putting together that video premiere with at the Ice House in Bethlehem, like that first video premiere brought out probably like 200 to 300 people. You know, we had bands.
Wow.
And so it brought together, you know, it's all these things were already happening. There was a great underground hardcore punk scene. There was a great art scene. But they were also people who skated, but they gathered for music or potentially or for art. They never gathered for the sake of skateboarding.
Exactly.
So
That's cool.
I
That
feel
is-
like good that we were able to do something that
Like the
brought
mesh, yeah.
that together. And then when we opened up when Homebase first opened up, we had art shows there. We had artists' work hanging. So instead of just having like banners for like independent trucks or toy machine skateboards, we had local artists' artwork. We would like the South Side was much different, and across the street, which is now a new building, there used to just be this alley and a parking lot. So skaters would just be skating in the alley all day long until the cops would tell them to leave. And then they would come into the skate shop and like things would like simmer down and then they would go back out. So, you know, with that, like we would just hold like little games of skate for the kids that were like hanging out in the shop. And like we would show videos and have our own video premieres when like a new skate video would come out. So there's like photos and videos from those years of just like the store packed with people. So again, it was using our space to bring people together. And then let that develop, like motivate them to, you know, make their own skate videos. And we saw that happening. Like at the time, like we were in our 20s, but then there was like, as Homebase like kind of went on and a couple of years in, there was these crews of high school kids who were making their own videos.
Wow.
And then coming and hanging out. And eventually those kids kind of came into our videos as well.
Yeah.
But it was something where something that didn't exist for decades,
Right.
now was like already spawning other younger generations to do it.
Yes, that's cool. I like that. I really like that, and that's what it's about. Like, as long as there's somebody that's looking at it and is interpreting it as, oh, that's cool, and I can do it myself. I can also
Yeah.
do that. Like, it's you just seeing something and kind of turning it into your own without like biting, but just still having that like perspective of I am influenced by a certain thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. So you got Homebase, you're doing this, like you're integrating in the community, like everything's going good. How does Second Base Vintage come to life, and why Easton?
So we, at the time when we were on 4th Street at our second location, across the street, our neighbors was a boutique called Loose Threads Boutique.
Okay.
So the owners there were operating there for a number of years successfully, and but then something happened with the landlord, and they had to move. They ended up moving the business here to Easton. So where our neighbor is Homegrown, the CBD.
Okay.
So where they are is where Loose Threads was. So they came first, and the owner, Laura Jasorka, she would say like, "Hey Andy, like there's this property next door to us that you should really look at. They're building it out. They're like the owners are building out, and it would be a great spot for Homebase to come. Like if you were thinking about expanding and coming to Easton." And we were thinking that was, she reached out to us in like late 2013, 2014. And so we were at that time. And Easton at that time, like, is a place that I would always come to skate, but you wouldn't really hang out here in Easton. But there was always I always liked skating in Easton because of the aesthetic of the city. Like the brownstones, it looked very much like moving around certain neighborhoods in Brooklyn or certain neighborhoods in New York, just because of the way that the city is built.
Yeah.
And this is a time before the public market, before Oak, before spaces like this.
Right.
Easton was still a place where it was like, you didn't really come to Easton. It wasn't really safe.
Yeah.
But we knew people like up the street from where we are, where Second Base was a place called Pleasure and Pain Tattoo. And that was a very iconic tattoo shop that birthed a lot of things. Like there was an artist and a skateboarder named Ken Sikafus tattooed there. I mean, skaters like Eric Bernetti, who started like Fucked Clothing, came from like running around the streets of Easton. So like Easton has like a deep history that I was familiar with from coming here to skate. But then you can kind of tell like there was an arts community and a music community and a small business community that was really, really tight-knit and grassroots. So whether and this goes back to if you talk to like Anthony from Connections or the people that own like Porter's Pub, like these are like long-standing businesses in Easton that were supporting like the arts and like really cool things were happening here in the underground. And once we kind of tapped in with that community, it really was like, oh, we should come here. And the space that we're in now, it's a beautiful space. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do with all that space. It's 2 floors.
2 floors, insane.
But I knew like the landlords were great. And just all the people I was meeting and all the things that I saw happening, it just had like a very grassroots feel. And at that time, like you can talk to people from Easton, like what's happening in Easton right now with all the development is cool. But the precursor to it was those years of like 2012, 2013, 2014. Again, just kind of like in other cities, like say like Brooklyn and Williamsburg, if you go back a certain time, like nobody wanted to be there except the artists, except the creatives. Yeah. And I think Easton really flourished from those same types of people.
Yeah.
And, what is somewhat sad is like most of my friends that were part of those communities aren't here anymore because they got priced out of their apartments. And so a lot of creatives ended up leaving. Not to fast forward too much, but then like the pandemic happened. So 2015 is when we signed our lease for Second Base, and we got our doors open. So we've been here for 10 years.
Congrats on 10 years too.
Appreciate that.
So I guess Armani was one of the OG employees.
No, not even.
Not from like day one, but there were years like 2015. There were years that we were figuring out what's like Homebase was. So when we first opened, it was called Homebase Easton.
Okay.
We sold skateboards there. We had, I was kind of dabbling with some more like contemporary men's brands.
Okay.
And a little bit of vintage. And on the second floor, we actually had a multi-vendor marketplace upstairs.
Oh, wow.
So it was dubbed the Easton Flea. And so a lot of the creatives that I was talking about, like that were part of Easton, had spaces up there.
They would sell upstairs.
Yep.
Oh.
So like,
okay. So Lambs kind of does that now. Like they'll rent out their third floor to like different vendors, but they'll hold it for the month with but it would only be one vendor up there, and they would like just do the whole like top floor like themselves. So that's kind of cool that you had like different vendors up there. That's so.
Yeah, in 2015 it was.
The store looked different too.
Yeah.
You had like the store looked completely different. Than
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, the upstairs, the look of it was really cool because all the people that we had set up, it wasn't like they just propped up a folding table and put like whatever they made there.
On it, yeah.
We really encouraged them to develop the space that they were in.
Yes.
So it was a really cool experience that I'm happy to like say and like look back that some of those vendors ended up becoming business owners in the Lehigh Valley.
That's cool.
So we had a young baker. She came out, she would make macaroons, and it's Melanie Lino.
Oh, really?
And then two friends that were roasting coffee, Monocacy Coffee Company. So they would serve their products out of our store. That's how they met. And then eventually Lit Coffee Shop opened in Bethlehem. And now Lit's still there, Monocacy still roasting coffee. And now Melanie's about to open her like bakery in West Bethlehem. Wow. So it's cool to like look back at businesses and people that have been able to take that, occupy our space and then grow out of our space into and do amazing things in the Lehigh Valley.
Right.
So that was part of like the birth of like our shop here in Easton while we were figuring it out. And again, to me, it's just kind of in line with the story of creating community.
Yeah.
I mean, we had people that sold plants. We had people that made their own pens out of recycled wood products. We had, people that sold vintage, like military stuff, true vintage, women's stuff, cameras. And these were all people that we all interacted with at the same time outside of store hours too. And that kind of ran its course. We would also have art shows. We would have live music playing. And then that kind of brought us into like maybe 2016 and 2017 where we had something upstairs called the Street Meet. So that was like a multi-vendor market, a lot more focused on local streetwear brands. So we had like Nano from ABE had like a pop-up there. These two brothers, Lonzo and why am I spacing on? Alonzo, like so. Sorry guys.
No, you're good.
They had
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
For sure.
It's just
I mean,
like-
I still see them because they had a brand called Apex. These three friends from Allentown. So they set up a pop-up and they were doing really cool things with this brand called Apex.
it was Lonzo Tomas.
Lonzo and Tomas and then,
brothers.
Yep. And then they even had a podcast early on, but then these brothers both moved to New York, and their friend circle in New York was crushing it. Like at a certain point, both the brothers were doing work for like Ame Leon Dor.
Oh wow.
And
That's sick.
like so kids from that came up. Like again, like I take no credit or ownership for these things. I just love seeing people that have started in our spaces go on to do things. Like so it was cool to see kids that skated with us at Homebase become pro skateboarders or find a space in skateboarding outside of like in another way. So to see what comes out of Lehigh Valley and to again be a platform for them to jump off, like that's been a very like a big strong piece of motivation, like year in year out, like with the grind of trying to run like a small business.
I love that. I love it because that's like the base model of Perks of Being Social. It's like to put people on, even if they don't see it themselves. It's like, well, come get your start here and build your portfolio to where you can go and take it to somewhere else, to where actually places that you probably don't even see for yourself. So that's I actually really love that base model. So Armani, how did you go about like getting a job at like second base, was that like a goal of yours, or like what, like were you guys just friends first and then it just transitioned into something? Like how does that become a thing?
I think I started coming around the shop around my senior year, so like 2017.
And you went to school?
I went to school at Lehigh Valley Academy on Bethlehem.
Okay.
It's like a IB school. It's like super education. I hated it. So I would come around the shop every now and then, and I think I saw Annie one time, and I was like, hey, like I'm a painter, like I would like to paint something for the shop. And that's kind of how we like started talking.
And I definitely saw your work and like how you curated your Instagram account too, because like that was still like at a time where people really curated like the photos that they posted. You had all the Polaroids.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, aesthetic like kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I would
making
take
your own.
Polaroids of like my friends and like what I was doing, and I would post it on my Instagram.
That's fire.
Like back in the day.
I like that.
And then it kind of went into me
Was
posting.
it the Instax, like the actual? Okay.
And I'll just scan them and then post them. But then that kind of got me into posting up my artwork that I would draw. So that was kind of like my first way of like using social media, reaching out to like other creatives, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And Andy and I followed each other. So he's seen like my skill set and what I was capable of fresh out of high school. And I think we had a conversation of like me interning at the shop to just for me to kind of just work on my skills and like figure out if there's something I wanted to do after, a few months or after I graduated high school, and kind of find my place in the shop. So that was how we initially started like talking and hanging out, was like, let me do some fun art for the shop because I think it's a cool place.
Yeah.
And then the conversation of like, what if you intern here for a bit? What if you hung out, got to meet the crew, just see how it feels.
That's sick.
We still have the painting in the store.
I painted a picture of Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I gotta see that.
In a Michigan, when she's in her Michigan jersey.
I think I did see that.
Yeah, it's in the corner somewhere.
I think
it hides around.
I've seen it.
It
for
moves
sure.
around. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the store morphs so much. But then there's also the other one that I don't know if it's a self-portrait or if it's like the square one. Like, I feel like it's a self-portrait, but then other people, every time people see it, they're like, is that Bad Bunny? And I'm like,
I know which one you're talking about.
Bunny.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's sick. So if you guys have never walked into Second Base Vintage, it is one of like the coolest places of like just the most archival things I've ever seen. Like there's just something in every corner, nook, cranny of the store. I think like I remember the first time I came in there and I spent like an hour in there just looking at like certain things, and that's because like I'm also like a hoarder of like a collector of things, an acquirer of things. So my I guess my question to you, Andy, is where do all of these things come from? Like I know you've acquired them like over time, but like is this just from people coming in the store selling you things? Or are you going places acquiring these things? Like how did
It's
we
like
get
everything, really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in there that I held on to. Like there's some Transformers that are still in a box that are mine from being a kid. There's anime stuff, comic books, old sneakers or things related to fashion. So it's almost like all these things that were important to me growing up that I held on to are like on display at the shop. And then as I would go digging for clothes, going to flea markets, yard sales, or wherever, I would find things like everyone always looks at the VHS tapes, and like all the VHS tapes are like hand picked. Where I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember watching that movie. I remember watching this. I remember that. So all things that were important to me, and then also we started to kind of things that were important to hip hop culture, sports culture, like pop culture, movies that I just watched, like just kind of putting those things everywhere, and then eventually we just like things like come to us randomly. Someone's like,
I'm
hey,
thinking about like how he would make us curate the VHSs for like seasonal things. Like if it was Halloween, we had to put out all the spooky ones for display.
That's it.
Or we would have to play like a movie every day.
Yeah, no, that's
very
another thing. Is very intentional.
Yeah.
And that was my word for the year. D'Anthony could tell you. Like I said like in January, I was like, look, the word for this year is intentional. Everything we do, we have to be intentional about it. And I think that's a word that I can say. It's intentional. You can tell, like, these were selected. It wasn't just placed here, like, just on a whim.
The shop was big on, like, detail. And detail was, it was something that very few people noticed, but, like, also appreciated.
Yeah.
And the people that appreciated would be literally, like, our normal customers. Because they
definitely
would just,
repeat. Like, when you go in, you feel like, no, I have to come back. Like, I definitely come because there's something in there that you didn't see, for sure.
it's
but
also
we will
like,
also switch it out to kind of like keep people like intrigued.
Yeah.
it's also like that part of the store upsets people the most because everybody.
I know exactly where you're going.
Like even today, like multiple people like, oh, how much is that?
Yep.
And it's hard to like explain. Like I've had to like just say, like when I tell the staff, like what do you say to somebody when they ask like if they can buy that item or that item? I was like, just tell them it's part of the owner's personal collection. Because I feel like people can understand that.
Right.
And they can respect that. If you just say it's not for sale, it's just for a display, they're like, well, why can I see it if I can't buy it? Like there is like a crazy level of entitlement though, sometimes with people who just feel like they should be able to take it.
Yeah.
They should be able to buy it. And I have sold things, but it's like you're going to have to pay for not just the collector value of what it might sell on eBay, but for like what it personally means to me.
Yes, I like that. I really like that.
You know, like, and if you're not willing to pay that, like, that's fine, but don't be mad about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that are like, they're like, I saw this bowl that you have these like action figures and G.I. Joes in there, and like you must have like $1,000 worth of toys in there. Like, why won't you sell them to me? And I'm like, because you don't know where they came from.
Right.
Like those are from my childhood.
Yeah.
Those are things that like my toys from my cousin's childhood.
Yeah.
Who they're like, oh, we see what you're doing. Like you can have this stuff.
Yeah.
But like they're giving it to me to like almost like protect and save.
Yes.
And like
sacred things.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like most of the people, like we do have people that have come in where that's a cool conversation.
Yeah.
But man, like sometimes it's just people who just get so upset. And it's probably because they want it so they can sell it.
Yeah.
You know, like anytime you bring money into it, like of course you're gonna have somebody that's gonna get tight because they see like how much it is, and it's just like fading in the sun in our front window.
Yeah, get a sun bleached, dusty.
Okay, so Armani, this is for you. Because I know Andy's he's a big proponent of like pouring into people and like you want to do something, go do it. Like let's talk about it. Let's flesh out a plan. Let's go do it. Can you remember one of like the events or one thing that you brought to the shop or like one thing that you wanted to do that he's kind of like poured into you, kind of helped you get off the ground, kind of thing?
I think some of the first initial conversations Andy and I had was like, where do you want to be when you grow up? Like, where do you see yourself in these next few years? And at the time, I wanted to be a creative director. Like that was like my career of choice when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So the thing that I wanted to be, I found my way doing it or learning about it through Andy. So that was kind of how things happened. And I think what I brought to the table was I was straight out of high school and I was ready. I was hungry. I was like, yo, like, let's do this shit.
Yeah.
And I also think that brought a sense of drive for Andy. But also I think just the type of kid I was also very patient.
Yeah.
And Andy back then he was very like he was sense he was like Mr. Miyagi, like that was Mr. Miyagi in the shop. Whatever he says goes. But the thing that was most important was the work ethic and again, detail oriented.
Yes.
Those little details that nobody thinks about were things that we were thinking about every day in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And I think just having a creative kid that was hungry and wanted to just learn, we used that to our advantage to put out certain capsules in the store, help organize some events through Second Base Vintage. Just things where I was learning, but also able to make mistakes in.
Okay.
So that was something that I brought to Andy. Was just like, I was just a kid that wanted to learn and just wanted to be in a space where he felt accepted. So just working there every day, I was around stuff I loved. I was around, cartoons and old brands I used to wear back in the day. Like, I was playing music I want. Like, it was a little bit of like my room as well.
Yeah.
So it was able to just funnel that inner kid of like just expressing yourself.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I like that type of thing, like where you can go into a job and have fun.
Yeah.
Like damn near. It doesn't even feel like you're walking into work. It kind of feels like you're walking into like the second coming of you, like and all of the things that encapsulate you. And that's how I feel like walking into second base. It's like home kind of thing. Like, cause I used to set my room up the same way, like the store looks. I used to have just like, it was like a collage of like posters all over the wall. People would say it all the time. Like, you would walk into my room and like, you don't even have to like, if you don't know anything about me, you could just look around the room for 10 minutes and you'll figure it out. Like, it's right there for you. And I think that was like kind of my way of feeling more comfortable, like in my own space. Like, you just make it a little more mine than just calling it my room and having like my stuff in here. No, let's put some stuff on the wall. Like let's dress it up and make it nice. Aesthetic is really big for me, so I think that's one of the things you really
Second Base
do
Vintage
well.
was, and it still is, like it's just a globe and a room of just creativity.
Yeah. Yes.
There's something
Good way
everywhere
to
to
put.
look at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put that.
And Armani was like a great, like, I definitely would have to say is like when Armani says like his drive was to be a creative director, he had like, I mean, he has all the skills of a creative director, like from such a very young age. Cause like when Armani came in, like the amount of things that he was doing and also like learning at the same time, like he was great on the sales floor. He was great at making, like shooting photos, great at making video edits. Like there's some video edits that I've always saved and like that you've made that are like, they're just like the vibe that you created through those videos, like the Hardly Working collection or the video of Jaden at the Allentown Art Museum when we got to do that collaboration with them. Like some of those videos, like I still like watch and I like, it amazes me of how quickly you turned around those videos. And you can just sort of see like you have a way of understanding that things need to be presented with intention. And I think that you take each project and you're again like that word, like you're very intentional to make sure that it has its own, like it has its own special vibe. Yeah. And like, so the amount of that work that we were doing to show certain types of clothing, like events that we were doing. Cause at that time, I mean, we were always having art shows. Yeah. We were always having music, like playing like the store. There was always a weekend where the store was just like jam packed with people.
Our schedules were intense for like those few years of just like banging out the sales floor every day. But then when we got home or like when work was done, we were banging out the projects. It felt very much of like how like a crazy store like Supreme or like AOD will operate, where it's just nonstop of just like content.
No, that's it. And
but also like also trying to figure out ways to cater to the community with events or
just see, and that's another thing. Like, I think it's so cool that you'll find like the young kid, like a Laz, or my favorite person in the world right now. I think she's like one of the coolest people in the world, and like the videos that she does, they're so. I don't even know how to describe it, but like every time I watch one, and I've watched like the episode 2 where she goes through like the steamer and like taking like the big boss went to like washes all the clothes and then she did this cool like little video when you guys are doing the Bethlehem vintage market. Let's show you how far it is from the things right up the street. I did everything about like those like little videos. Like again, goes back to intention. It just they're so. I guess what I'm trying to say is it shows you some like a kid's personality without it being exploitive. And I think that's like the biggest thing I could take away from it. It's like she's shining in a way that she probably didn't even know she had, and you're kind of like pushing her to the forefront to do it. Like, was that her idea, or is that you like pushing her into doing those because you've seen something in her?
So a lot of the conversations I had with Ayana early on, because when we brought her on, it was with a specific intention that to make content, because she expressed in, every time we sit down and when we interview people, which is wild how many people will submit applications and not even respond when we respond back to set up an interview.
Wow.
Like, I don't know what it is, but Ayana came and she came to our interview and she was great. And a lot of things that we look for is the same thing I asked Armani is, what do you want to do? What do you like?
I like that.
Because I know that these kids aren't going to work for us forever.
Right.
But so the question I ask is, like, with the time that you have with us, what do you want to take away and how does that set you up for the next thing that you're going to do?
Got that.
And if there's not like an answer there, it's not to say like that person couldn't work for us.
Yeah.
But again, like, if I can't help you with like develop a skill, get an experience, fail forward, like Armani said, like give you an opportunity. If you're not going to fail forward through this experience, then like you're not going to grow through this experience, because it's not going to be an easy one. Like Armani knows, like it's not easy to work for me.
I could tell, like just all of the stuff that she's. I'm just like, wow, like I didn't know all of that goes into putting up vintage, you know what I mean? Like, and she makes it look so cool, and I think that's like the coolest part. So it is hard work. It's not like it may look glamorous.
And with Ayana, it's something where we have like, I just kind of set a vision for what it can be, and then it's always like, hey, we're gonna collaborate on this, so I want you to be proud of how this looks.
Yes.
So it's her ideas, it's her music, it's her titling, it's her, like everything about these videos is really her. It's just, there's a shared and understood vision for it. And there's only minimal times where I will correct and edit or change something. And that's only because it's like, will this improve the viewer's experience?
Gotcha.
But a lot of how I work with Ayana is a testament to what I learned from Armani. Yeah. So as much as Armani can say like, oh, like I learned a lot from Andy, like I learned a lot from.
You see what I'm saying? See, now that's what I'm talking about. I love it. Like the video. She's just so dope. Like, and they look so clean and they're just so cool looking. Like, I just think like, yeah, she's gonna flourish.
Yeah.
And
I don't have to be in front of the camera, but. But like I was saying is like, there's a lot that I learned from Armani, because the times that with whatever we were doing in those years that Armani worked for us, it was very, like there was just a lot of ideas and it was very intense. And I'm always focused on like, let's get this done. Yeah. I'm always looking at the finish line and what I want people's experience to be like. Again, I'm very clear on, if we're going to do this, this is what it should accomplish. Okay. But, what kind of like, I think that was the double-edged sword for Armani working for me was that he was pushed into these opportunities to learn about these things, but then he was also like pushed way too hard. And I didn't know that I was pushing people way too hard, because I know I was working off of my own drive. Right. I was working off of like what I was able to do, I can push, and at the end feel fine. But I didn't really see that like, well, they were pushing as hard as they could to like help me to like to help me create this vision. But at the end, they were feeling more burnt out than like happy with the work. So Armani had to have like some really hard conversations with me to really sort of like help me understand like, hey man, like I love you and I want to do these things, but you're going to have to like change these aspects about how you move, how your energy is, how you speak. Like, you know, like there was a lot of like self-reflection, learning, therapy.
A lot of vulnerable moments with each other.
It's important to have that insight too. And that's amazing that you could actually dial back and like accept those things about yourself and like to listen to your employees at that point. Like, yeah, they're your friends, but you do have that dynamic of you being a boss and them being an employee. And just to have that foresight of, well, he's saying something and it's not coming from a malicious place, so let me take this the right way.
And then also the flip side of that to know is like, well, I may not have a malicious intention, but if my energy, if my tone, if my intensity is off, then those things all have to matter. And sometimes I would put like the end result as the priority instead of the person that I was working with. And I mean, I think that over the years, like even at Homebase, there were times where people, like even at just making videos, like again, like I want to make the best video I can. So the thought is like, well, don't you want to make the best video you can?
Right.
But they were the ones putting their bodies on the line.
Yeah, like I was literally like the face.
Good.
I was the face and the man of like second base when I worked there. To the point where like I was managing the store on my own.
Wow.
Somebody this week came in to be like, "Yo, is the bigger guy here?" Like the guy with like the glasses and the head tattoo. And I was like, "Man, you haven't been here in a while."
A while. That's
Yeah.
sick. Oh, that's awesome though. That's tight when you could like at least still have like that like face value with people.
Yeah, and those moments were great. But you know, the thing that caught up to me was working 8 to 10 hours at the shop, grinding out like sales and like content for the store, and then having to go home and like work on projects.
Yeah.
Projects I wanted to do for sure.
You really wanted to do.
But it's like fucking retired.
So when did, because this is how I met you under the guise of like you are a graphic designer and 100 like some of the stuff you make is like some of like my favorite pieces.
Thank you.
Like I'm telling you, like I don't just give people that title. Like I really enjoy your work. Like I take pictures of it every time I see it. Like I try to share it as much as possible. I think your work is like really, really great. So like when does that take shape? When do you, I guess, push yourself into like, oh, I want to do this like full time. I can get work out of this. Like
I think after high school, I just started doing graphic design, and as I was working with Andy, that's when I started kind of developing more of a general basic skill of utilizing it as a tool for the shops.
Okay.
So some of my very first designs are my shittiest work I've ever done.
Yeah.
But it's a ground point of just, this is the bottom and you can only get better from here.
Right. Right.
And some of the first designs for Annie were probably the most simplest designs to date of just like making second base vintage logos in like different ways with different fonts. So I was like, the very first designs are probably different Andy.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, as working there, just him and I developing that skill in the back end of the shop, just like, what if we did this idea? What if we did this capsule? Let's do like this. Let's do the super soaker flip. Like that was one of the very first designs we did together. So it was just like low hanging fruit that was around the shop, and that we could kind of storytell with the shop into design. So I had a reference point of what we should design, and then kind of just like working backwards of like, how can I make this in Adobe? So the very first design I did was the Super Soaker. And the idea was, well, let's take the Super Soaker logo and let's work from behind. Let's reverse the design language.
Yeah.
And was what we did for a few years, just like doing flips. And then it kind of integrated like us trying more expanded ideas for SB drops or certain designs for the store.
What's that one, I guess, project that you had where you were like, oh, this can become a profession kind of thing?
I think during COVID, when the Ben and Jerry SBs dropped, Andy and I did a T-shirt, and that one was a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially like during COVID, and it was just one of those things where I was like, this seems feasible. Like
I feel like
I
everybody got
this.
like their I can do this full time thing
Yeah.
during COVID. Like all like the creators had that like sit down moment, and it was like kind of forced sit down for sure, but at least like you kind of had to like figure it out kind of thing. Like I didn't. I was working all through COVID. Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
But I think like the more important side of like what people were getting out of COVID was figuring out what they actually like to do and kind of honing in on those skills. And I think that was like for what it was the coolest thing that came
I think
out
the
of
Ben
COVID.
and Jerry's design we did was probably like the moment where I was like, oh, like I can do this as a profession, or I could do this in a way where it's lucrative for myself as an adult or a young adult. So that was like one of the big ones that we did together, because the pressure was there, because the drop was like coming up, and we were trying to get the shit out to the LVAC.
Yeah.
And we were also trying to figure out how to market it. We were trying to figure out, we were still like designing a few days out before we had like a deadline. So
I feel like I watched Armani transform from being an artist into a designer.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that now when I talk to other creatives, it's really my conversations, I try to focus on that, because of what I learned from Armani is like Armani knew how to do things when he had complete creative control and a vision that he wanted to execute. But there would be times where I'd be like, hey, this is what I want to do. So now he's creating something for me.
Yeah.
And then there's a gap there of like, well, now I have to think, like, it's almost like Armani early in those times would be like, well, now I have to think like Andy thinks. And like, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted Armani to think like Armani thinks, because I wanted the vision and I wanted the creativity that he could create to translate. But I mean, it's something like, whether it's a photographer, a videographer, a designer, an artist, like I've experienced that with like young creatives where I don't know if it's because there's a pressure to be like, oh, I'm doing something for Homebase, for Second Base, for Andy, or for somebody else, that they lose themselves in that process, and there's a loss of confidence. And so I remember having conversations where I didn't quite understand like how to communicate, like, this is how you do this without making you feel bad.
Yeah.
Or tearing it down. And
It's
then
the
now, like,
sickest
yeah,
stuff.
like now
the sickest stuff in the world,
it's-
like insane.
now the
Insane.
work that Armani puts out, again, like, you really sort of, like, there was all the font development that you would do. Armani started putting tons of work into his craft, which then gave him, I feel like it gave you confidence, and then also brought people who said, like, again, told you, I want you to do what you do for me.
Yeah.
So then you developed the confidence where then you became a designer, where it wasn't something where you were always like, well, tell me what you want, tell me how you want it to look. And you were just sort of like, I'm going to tell you how this should look.
yeah.
You know,
I like
and
that.
now that's why we have these types of, like, you know, the aesthetic that's there, where you're working, you're developing things for clients now because they trust like what you've done. And I don't know, like, I think
So if you go all the way to the bottom, I think you should see like my very first designs.
I think that took a lot of time for you to kind of, it was just a process.
Like
for
that,
you.
like that
To roll
stuff,
together?
That's when that was like one of my probably like my last year on the shop, but
Yep.
that took 3 or 4 years of learning
Right.
to develop that and figure out the back end of like looking for distributors, looking for people to ship this. What's the packaging gonna look like?
It's crazy because you did my first logo for the Perks of Being Social.
Yeah.
And like, I remember when I first got those back, I was like,
If you go down more, I think
this is better than
Stuff,
I
yeah,
even,
like-
expected, honestly.
like those are those.
The self-care one was a big one.
That was when we did.
Wow.
Was that around COVID?
Yeah, because then that was also like a whole, like, a lot of what I
That is
tried to
so
push.
sick.
I feel like a lot of what I kind of pushed you into was the idea of, like, you can have a design, but how does that design translate into the packaging, into the marketing, into everything else? So you developed.
This one was
like
a long
flexibility.
one too that we
So
did.
tight.
Yeah.
just the fonts, everything, like.
And it carries
It's
over
so
into
cool.
Yeah, there's, like, more posters.
it carries over into like interviews with other people about. I mean, Armani is really like developed into
I think
one of my favorite
COVID was the year
designers.
where like we just started going crazy with like storytelling and just trying new things.
I mean, I also think when I think about that time when we had to close down, I mean, even like what you were doing in the store, like we created a TV show that they've all been slowly getting taken down. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I
like
haven't.
Instagram's been
wow.
taking them down because Armani and Jaden, who also worked for us, amazing, like creative, like when they got together as well, but they would do a show out of the shop, like basically a check-in, like with people during the pandemic. So like Armani would spin a set, like a DJ set on the second floor of Second Base, and they created, using all our stuff because like they created a studio setup.
Wow.
And then Jaden would interview other artists or other musicians
On live.
all over, on Instagram Live.
That's sick.
And we were doing this while everybody was like selling vintage online, and everyone would be in the chat like, well, aren't you going to sell something? And we're like, what? No, we're not selling anything. We're checking in with our people. So there's tons of, y'all developed like this weekly TV show in the middle of the pandemic to check in with people. And again, it's a shame that like, because it was only put up on Instagram, like we don't really actually have those things, those DJ sets, those interviews.
But then this also developed into Jada and I doing weekly shoots for Second Base Vintage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was something that we used to do as well.
That's sick.
Those are like our best, I think, shoots. Those photos.
It's like way back. Gonna go way back into.
So I'm huge on names, right? Like what we like branding and stuff like that. So and you have like I'm big into baseball. So Homebase, Second Base Vintage, and then Armani, you with Sense of. I think that is like so cool. So where does the names come from? Andy, we could start with you. Where does the name Homebase and then Second Base?
So Homebase kind of started just from the idea of, well, I came into Pennsylvania, into the skateboarding community here, and it had no home. Like nobody was bringing it together. So when I thought about it, like when I think about Homebase, we are the home base of skateboarding culture in the Lehigh Valley. Like that's what we created. And then Second Base was just a play on words that eventually turned into Second Base Vintage, because secondhand clothing is our second location and all that. So that's like, that was sort of like an easy sort of just like layup to
right there. That's
go
cool.
that way.
I guess Sense of for me was something I developed when I was working with Andy. But it just resonated with me because of how ambiguous it can be.
You're right.
Especially with
I feel that too.
Especially with the things that I enjoy. So Sense of is really just ambiguous to a feeling that you might get or something that you might see and it communicate with you using your senses of like, how does this make me feel?
Yes.
How does this make the other person feel? Just kind of that ambiguous language. That really grabbed my attention in my mind. So I just think it correlates to my studio because I do a lot of different types of designs for a lot of different people. So I think sense of being is always ambiguous to the people who are viewing it and who are consuming it.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so you being a collector and acquirer of sorts of just a multitude of things, what's one vintage piece that you regret letting go of or vintage item that you regret letting go of?
It's funny because I'm actually not a collector and I'm not a hoarder. Like Second Base is a collection of things that are some items that I've held on to, and it's things that I'm interested in. Okay. But it's not like I don't have a collection of things. I kind of tend to just like let things go when I feel like I'm through with it. Like, and then I kind of evolve into liking to wear like other things. Like my people always ask, they're like, "Oh, you probably have a crazy like closet." And I was like, I could show you my closet, and it's like it's
just basics now.
It's like not really that wild. I don't know. I think that every time I let things go, it's because it's like I'm ready to let go of them.
Okay.
And I guess if I have to think about like if I had regrets, it's from being a kid and like all my Japanese animation t-shirts that I bought, and I always bought them like in size XL because I wanted them to be super baggy.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea. Like I see all my photos of me being a kid wearing them, and I'm like, I don't know where they went. Like I have no idea. Like I just wonder where all those clothes that I had, like comic book t-shirts, Japanese animation t-shirts. I think I had like every single Akira shirt. And it would just be cool if I would have had the foresight to save those things. A lot of old skateboarding stuff, like all the t-shirts that I had in the early 2000s and late 90s. I wish I would have held on to those things because now they're worth something. And now it's not even that I wish I saved them to sell them. It's just I wish I had them so I could add them to the store so other people can see it. Because because now you see people on Instagram that show like, oh, like look at these shoes from this era, look at these skateboards, look at these t-shirts, and some of them are very valuable, but again, like these are all things that were part of a culture that I was really like connected to. So to not have those things, like to not be able to share those things is what I regret. But I don't know. I feel like I don't really have very many other regrets for
That's cool. All right.
clothes.
So, all right. So, there's too many things I want to touch on. Armani, definitely with you, I want to know about how did you get into DJing? Where does that come from? Why did you start DJing? What was your musical taste like growing up, I guess?
In high school, I used to make mixes to study. So I would make like ambient mixes for me to study for, like and like use.
What?
Yeah.
I can't read if there's like a sound on and you play mixes to study to.
Yeah.
How do you work?
It was just like
couldn't,
it was just
I could never do.
It was just like ambient beats, like lo-fi beats or like instrumentals.
Oh,
like,
I'd be all the way distracted. That's really cool though.
So it was just something just to kind of have background music for while I studied or created stuff. But that stuff goes hand in hand with graphic design of like how I got into graphic design as well. Mixes need a cover. So it's just like those two things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But I've always loved music growing up. I mostly play house music now and subcultures of house music like Jersey Club, Baltimore, NOLA Bounce, kind of those things.
Yeah.
But also I play like Chicago, Footwork, Detroit Techno.
And you grew up on this music or you found it later in life?
This is stuff I've found later in life, but first introduction into like what I like to play now was from Daft Punk. Okay. When like 2001 Discovery came out, like that was probably like one of my first electric albums indulging into. But in terms of like other sources of music, just whatever my friends and family would play around me. So it kind of fed me different genres and different eras of music. For sure. And then when like LimeWire came out, when like YouTube was like still super small, early days of like SoundCloud, that's when I would go music hunting of like seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like. And then I feel like I'm pretty good at curating music. I think I'm just cocky when it comes to that.
Yeah, you got to. Toot it.
And I was like, I want other people to enjoy the music I like. Yeah. That kind of went into me DJing for events that were held at the shop, DJing for my friends like in private areas. And something I'm working on is trying to get my own radio station or doing a monthly radio session in person, just to kind of have something to do.
That's sick.
I've been telling him to do it for a while now.
Yeah, I've been busy, man.
Super busy for no reason though. Like I've been trying to have a meeting with this guy for months now, and it's just like, whatever, man. Whatever. It's gonna happen though. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen for sure.
But my thing is like, why did you? Like, where did you start DJing? Like, you just bought equipment? Did you see it somewhere? Like, how did you get into that?
I started mixing on my laptop with no controller.
Wow.
So that's how I first started.
How do you even do
I made
that?
it work. And then I would just use controllers that were available at events that people would bring.
And you just self-taught. Mm-hmm. What is up with y'all? I can't do that. I can't, like, I have to literally, like, somebody has to sit there and teach me. Like,
It's just trial and error. Like, I think I'm okay as a creative with like failing. It just kind of works itself out in a way.
that's important. That's important for people to know. Like, you have to be okay with failing at something and know that it's going to be okay, that you will figure it out. You're not going to be a master of something at the first time.
I still think I'm not that good of a DJ. Like, I still got things to learn and things to do. Like,
as long as you have something to strive for.
Yeah.
That's always the best.
And again, like, it's something that I have fun doing, and other people that listen to me DJ have fun as well. So I don't see no problem with it.
I love the way you DJ. I love the
Thank you.
music you play, and I love your mixes. So that's
Thank
from
you.
me. All right, Andy. We've gotten into our segment, the running segment. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. So where does your running journey start? Were you running in high school? Was that?
I hated, like, I was definitely one of those people that would avoid gym at all costs when they had, like, you have to run the mile day.
That was me too.
I definitely, like, I had no interest in running. I would definitely look at people that ran and just had that mentality of, like, what is wrong with these people?
Why?
Like, what are you doing? Like, that's so dumb. But again, like, getting older and not being able to skate as much, like, not because my body doesn't allow me to skate, but just more like my schedule. You know, a lot of my friends that I would regularly skate with grew out of skateboarding, and then they had kids or jobs. So it's like the people that I most enjoyed skateboarding with, I can't really skate with them all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I still wanted to stay kind of like physically active.
Yeah.
And so running kind of made sense because I love skateboarding because it's the thing that, like, all you need is your skateboard and you can go do it. You don't have to really actually wait for anybody else.
Yes.
It's more fun when you do it with other people.
Right.
But it was just something where all you need is a pair of running shoes. So, I mean, it was really like randomly in probably sometime between 2015 and 2018, I started going on runs.
Why? Like,
Just-
where? Like, I know where I started. I know why I started. Competition, I'm insane in my head, but why? Like, it's not you just woke up one day and was like, oh, I'm just going running.
Yeah,
you wanted
I
to
think
stay
that
active.
I got sent like a box from Nike, and in there was also like a pair of like running shoes, but they weren't like real running shoes. They were like some sort of like fly knit type thing that was like had a spongy sole. Like, you know, you don't really run in like the New Balances or the Asics that you have. Like, you can, but it's not really made for really, really running.
Gotcha.
So I got that pair and I was like, well, maybe I'll try running. So I was still living in the South Side. So I kind of started running kind of like through like steel stacks and everything and just kind of like running. And, you know, it sucked. But it's similar to skateboarding where you have a focus and you have a sense of self-accomplishment. You're challenging yourself to go further or faster or to control your breathing. So it was really, I kind of recognized it as a source of more like meditation and like kind of ending my day like in a calm way than it was like ever trying to like I didn't have have like a competitive
You're not
side
trying
to
to
it.
hit PRs or anything like that. You're doing it for like an actual benefit for you.
Yep. So then like 2018 is probably when I started running consistently. I started going to like, I met other people who I just knew in the community who were like, oh, I saw that you were running. Like, I run too. Like, do you want to come to this run group?
Yeah.
So I would go on Saturday mornings to like the LVRR runs and meeting other people and just, again, like kind of like what we do is like we regularly meet up and you're now running with the groups and now there's accountability.
Yes.
And then that pushes you. So to see like how you progress, Malik, Jordan, everyone's progressed in your running since we started in the spring. I mean, it's really just that consistency. And like I had that too. So by 2019, I ran the half marathon, like the Bethlehem half marathon.
Yeah.
And that was my first like real race and sort of like exposure to like what that's like to like be in the streets, like running with hundreds of other people, that support system that comes with it, sort of like the hype that comes with it. And, then the pandemic happened, and running was something that I just continued to do, like on my own, just to kind of get outside and also to, again, continue to like clear my head. So my affinity for running really is like the mental health aspects of it. Like, already being at the age that I am, like I'm not really trying to push my pace. Like I think that my only goal really is to try to run farther, but not necessarily faster. So it's been great, like being able to run with new runners who are very excited about, your Strava stats. Where I'm like the old head that's like, I'm not on Strava. Like,
doesn't even run like with anything, like just his phone and just to map the routes. Like I'm just like, I can't. I need the extra. I need to know what I did. I need to put it up with a nice picture.
The technicality of it.
Yeah, man. I gotta know it all. I gotta do it all. The only thing I haven't gotten into yet, but now working at Aardvark, they're getting me into it, is the nutrition side of it and the fueling and doing the proper things for your body. Because I know I'm beating myself up right now, like just thinking I'm still 23 and could just wake up and run. But I do feel it, like after those like 10 milers, like I feel it in my knees now. So I'm just like, okay, like, there's things that I should be doing for sure. Like, like I've gotten into like the stretching, like the dynamic stretching and like the mobilities and all of that good stuff. But I think the nutrition side is where I'm going to start to take it next, because it is getting out of hand very quickly. And see, the biggest thing that I'm taking away from it is the community side of it, like the holding each other accountable, like when we don't show up or like we're too tired in the morning. Like we do 6 a.m. runs, and like some days, like I'll have work at 9 and be like, all right, I want to get up for the 6 a.m. run because I can't go to the 8 a.m. one because I got to get to work. And then that 5:15 alarm goes off, and you just look, and you're just like,
nah, we'll go back to bed.
No, you're just like, absolutely not. But then you have your Instagram messages just going on, and Andy's just like, wait, I'm telling you, like, he will hold your. But I appreciate that more than anything because, I'll go run by myself, but it's better when you know somebody's like going through that same thing with you.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like having a run group is really important, especially run groups that have the right, again, that word, intention of supporting each other. Yeah. Because that's how I was, like, that's what I felt in run groups. It was like the social thing, like, that comes with it is a cool
it's the
thing.
Bonus, yeah.
But you really need that foundation of a supportive community because everyone comes in at a different pace. And if the run group doesn't foster, like, people getting better, right, then like what's the point of the group? Exactly. And again, like that, like all, like to me, so many of these things echo like skateboarding to me. And that's why I do enjoy like running on my own, because it's kind of like to me, like the era of skateboarding that I came up in was like you would sometimes like skate by yourself because you would work on things. So when you got to the session with the homies, you'd be like, oh, look at that. They're like, whoa, like, you could do that trick. And he's like, yeah, I could do that trick.
Took me 5 hours, but nobody saw that, so it does not matter. But I 100% feel that, because that, like, coming to your initial runs on Fridays and you having that, oh, well, we do have these 2 other people that came this week, and I'm going to set I'm going to walk with them. So, Josh, do you want to set the pace for this group? And it was that inclusivity that anybody could come. Like, you don't have to be a 5-minute miler. You don't have to be a 9-minute miler. Like, you can come and walk and still feel that sense of community, that sense of belonging. And that's something that we took with us to Archive. And I like that. And it's not even just the running. You kind of combined it with the swap meet and like the stuff that they're doing. And I think that like all of like putting that all under one umbrella was like super smart, and I will definitely give you your credit for that one. I thought that was so cool because you were the first one out here with a run group. That is,
I mean, I definitely didn't
You didn't advertise it as like the run group.
Like
but you open it up for
love
everybody.
that, you know, that you and Malik started the actual run club because again, that's something that I've learned over the years is I can be into something, but I don't have to like do that thing or own that space. Like, you know, skateboarding has grown where, like we put in a lot of work into the skateboarding community. And now that it's at this place, there's other people advocating for skate parks and I can support that. There's other skate shops who have now their shop teams and like, that's fine. Like, I think that something that I've always felt was a mindset like of the Lehigh Valley was that if you did something, you had to be the only one. Like people wanted to always claim that they like they were the king of that. Or like, I guess it's like big fish in a small pond mentality where it's like, you know, like I remember when another vintage shop opened in town and people would come in to be like, oh, like, aren't you pissed that they opened up? I'm like, no. Like we need more. Like just like again, like I love how Aardvark embraces archive, like the run club, because they can see like this is needed. There's not actually enough platforms like for people to get involved in things. So, you know, like I don't expect everybody to come to my store or to come like to buy their skateboard from Homebase. Like if they do, awesome. But like I don't own skateboarding.
It's just the fact that you bought a skateboard.
If the community is big enough now where people who identify with skateboarding in the way that we do it come to Homebase or come to Second Base, awesome. But like if they go somewhere else, like that's also fine. And the same thing, like if I started running and then you guys started a run club, like I'm going to support that. Like it's kind of the same thing with like when Armani said like, all right, like I gotta leave now. It's my time to leave the store to do this other thing. Like it was a sad moment for Armani to leave, but it was also a proud moment to see that like where he was gonna go. And that's something that I've had to really like understand. Like that's a very important part of like my purpose in running these businesses and in the Lehigh Valley. Again, it's creating community and then letting that community grow and not wanting to control how it grows or what happens like with all these other iterations. Like
I think the impact of the impact of it being for just a person is great, because I mean the impact for that individual is going to benefit the community as they are creating stuff for the community to do. And I think that Andy, with the knowledge that he's had over the years within the business aspect of owning shops, but also the back end creatively with things that he learned from doing trade shows or doing his own marketing or seeing what other people have done. I think that having Andy as a support for the community is just going to benefit everybody.
100.
And I think that just goes to him being the sensei figure to me, but also to other people that might not know it.
100%.
Sensei Po.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way too. Like you pour into me like more than you probably know it, and that's just by like watching you do things and watching the way you handle yourself with everything that you go into. And again, we could put the counter on the word. It's like with everything is with intention, and that's kind of how I want to base my life going forward. Is I want to make the right moves, and I want to put people in position to further themselves in even ways that maybe they do see and maybe ways that I see. So I think that just watching you maneuver in Easton as a business owner has been helpful for me personally, and I do want to thank you for that for sure. How far are we? We could honestly we could talk forever. And I do want to invite you back so we could get into like some real skateboarding like topics. But so these are like just meant to be fun, really quick, this or that kind of things. Armani, let's start with you.
Yeah, man.
Stream or vinyl?
Streaming or like vinyl for music?
Yeah.
I would say collecting vinyl is a cool aspect, so I'm gonna say vinyl. And also, I design vinyl, so I'm also gonna say that.
I love that. I love that answer. Favorite genre of music?
House.
Stuck on an island, can only bring 3 albums. Give it to me.
Damn, that's a hard one. I'm gonna say Kanye West Graduation Day. Let's see, Daft Punk Discovery.
2.
And damn, what kind of other genre do I need? You know what? I'm gonna say NERD, the first NERD album.
Love it. Okay, nice. What was that called? Damn. My favorite one is Seeing Sounds. Damn. What was the first one called?
I forgot the name of it.
I forgot the name of it,
just listened to it
too.
this morning too.
That was a really good album. All right. DJ Coachella or residency at Radio City Music Hall?
I would do a residency. I would like a more intimate space.
I like that. Fresh out the fresh out the box smell or beat up vintage look?
Depending on what it is. If it's kicks, fresh out the box.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's vintage, I'll do like tees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crocs in sport mode or slides with socks?
Slides with socks for sure.
I had to ask you that one
Can't
for
let the dogs
sure.
out, bro.
All right. Would you rather forget your wallet or forget your phone?
Forget my wallet.
Would you rather be stuck in the 90s or skip ahead to 2050?
2050.
Netflix binge or YouTube rabbit hole?
Netflix binge.
Be famous for your shoes or your haircut?
I don't got hair, so shoes.
All right. Always late but best dressed or on time but your fit is mid?
On time but fit is man.
Okay. That's 10.
I'd rather be on time than late, to be honest. It's ingrained.
Yeah.
All right, Andy. I got 10 for you right here.
Oh man.
Top 3 skate videos of all time.
20-shot sequence. Modus operandi
Love that one.
and our own No Place Like Home.
No Baker 3? I just love that's one of my favorite. And then what's my other Almost Round 3. That was like my
Oh, if I didn't choose my own, I would say any of like the Blueprint skateboards videos from the UK.
okay.
Those are all like influential as far as like my video editing styles and things like that.
Your favorite sneaker?
Do I even wear sneakers anymore?
Yeah. Well, it could be like maybe something that you like nostalgic feel, like maybe something like that.
Man,
You had some good kicks over the years.
I know. I feel like I would have to say an Air Max 270 in the original color. Is like a shoe that I always wanted, but I got a vintage pair and like the air bubble just like
It crumbled.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think I was with you that day. The day
Yeah.
the soul fell.
yeah.
He was walking and just
It's
Gotta
weird that
love
it's like
those.
it's definitely not like I don't know. It's definitely not like a skate shoe.
Right.
Um,
That's what I was more so looking for. Like I thought it was like a Etnies or something like a S.
nah, I mean, I got love for like
That's
skate
what I
shoes.
should have
but
put. I should have put like DC or Etnies or something like that.
Definitely DC.
Okay. Shout out John Shanahan. Stuck on an Island, only 3 albums. Same question.
That's a hard one. Like I feel like I don't at this point. Like I don't really listen to music all that much, except for like background. So it's like just streams in the back, but I'm not actually like selecting it.
Right.
But I'd have to say, like iconic albums for me would be that Wu-Tang Forever, Arcade Fire, Funeral, and man. I'm just gonna go Mobb Deep, Hell on Earth.
Let's go. Let's go. You're dropping a new album.
Who's they?
It's all like recycled
post-
P verses.
posthumous
P
album.
verses, yeah, posthumous. But no, it's gonna be. I've heard 2 records so far, and they do
Yeah.
sound really, really good. Same question. Fresh out the box smell or beat up vintage look?
I would have to say like same thing that Armani said. If it's sneakers.
Sneakers.
New, If it's something else, like pants, jeans, tops, vintage.
Gotcha. If you can remake any movie and star in it, what would it be?
The original Point Break.
What was it?
Point Break.
Point Break. Sick. All right. If you could see anybody perform, dead or alive, who would it be?
I've seen them. Man, these are tough questions because I'm really not like a massive fan of like music like that anymore.
He's old.
Give us one.
know.
Give us one. Have you seen Wu-Tang perform?
I have.
Oh, they actually came to the Sherman too. I do remember that one.
I saw that. I saw. I saw like Prodigy perform like at Max Fish. Like,
Oh, wow.
Just
Right
couple
there.
feet away.
Yeah, that's sick.
I don't know. I would actually say like. I would say the Arcade Fire. I'd like to see them again.
Okay. If you open another store, what would be the name?
Everybody would say that it should be Third Base. Right?
Yeah. That's been a conversation every now and
It
then.
would just be. It would have to be at this point. What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
What is the first thing? Drink water.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
If I didn't own two stores, I'd be.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I don't know what I'd be doing. I guess like the context would be if I never would it be I never opened the stores ever, or I opened the stores, I have all the experience that I have, and then now I'm doing something else.
No, you never opened the stores.
Never opened the stores.
Yep.
I probably would have moved back to California. That's
Back to Cali for the kid. Andy, Armani, it has been a pleasure
Thank
having
you for having
both
us.
of you on. Thank you again. I am still a fan of both of you, and I can't wait to see what both of you have
Thank
going
you.
on in future endeavors. Ryan, shout out to you. Thank you. You have been incredible. You guys have been incredible. This has been your Unlaced Podcast, episode 6. I am your host, Joshua. We had just had a great conversation with Andy and Armani, and Holmes is ready for bed. So am I. Go Red Sox. Oh, man, I got
I'll put the game on really quick. Did
Yeah,
it
the
start?
game just went off. Yeah, no, it started already. All right. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Until next time, this has been your Unlaced Podcast. Roll the music.